Perhaps few of us realised it, but as we voted yesterday, we were juggling with fire. Our vote's not just about what was on the ballot paper, but also the unity of our country and who'll govern us from now on. The theory was that this referendum would resolve something, would settle a question. One thing it has settled is the divisions in Britain. Divisions between one nation, here I am in Scotland, and the rest of the country. Divisions between generations. Divisions between rich and poor. Will it settle anything? Who on earth knows? And are you worried that Scotland may vote one way and the rest of the UK vote another?
I'm more than worried, convinced.
So I was hovering even in the box.
What, with a pencil?
Yes.
Going leave,
Yep.
remain?
Yep.
Edinburgh's the most pro-EU city in the most pro-EU country. Over the border is where the anti-Europe revolt began. The border between Scotland and England is not just the border between two nations, it's a border between two hugely different attitudes to our membership of the EU, just one of the many divisions that have been exposed in this referendum. The first city to declare, the first tremor to signal the earthquake to come, was Newcastle. I headed to a polling station as it prepared to close. So you just voted?
Yes, I have. I voted to leave.
You're from Cyprus?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you scared
No,
that Britain might leave?
no, I might just go back home, I guess.
What, you go home if the UK left Europe?
Yeah, I guess.
All right. It's been nice having you here. You got a minute by my count. In you go. How did you vote?
Remain.
No doubts?
No doubts.
Because?
I don't know. Sorry.
No idea. So this is it. The door is now closing. That is it. No more votes. Polling is over. Britain's destiny hangs in the balance.
So Big Ben has struck 10 o'clock, and we can now start trying to discover which side thinks has carried the day.
The CBI are having their northeast dinner tonight. Polls have just closed. Let's see how nervy the businessmen are. Polling has just closed. Is this a nervous occasion?
It's been a very, very nervous occasion, and I think, business leaders here are very conscious that there's been so much on hold.
I'm relatively relaxed. I just don't contemplate that the answer can't be remain.
I export all over the world, and I don't give a flying hoot about it all. I think we should be independent out of it all and get on with it.
Newcastle voted to remain just, but down the road in Sunderland came the sign that Britain was heading for the exit. It is just before midnight. The conventional wisdom down south in London is that Remain have just edged it. That's what they're saying in the financial markets. That's what the private polls are saying. That's what both sides privately are saying. But until these votes are counted up and announced here in the northeast, frankly, no one really knows.
The total number of votes cast in favour of leave was 82,000.
They are celebrating because that is over 60%. Sunderland, the first place in the country to vote leave, and to vote leave by a much, much bigger margin than anybody expected. Why people here say there are people who haven't voted since Margaret Thatcher was Prime Minister.
And it's the working man who said no. The working man.
Have they said no to Europe, or are they basically saying no to the guys running the country?
I think
Both.
it's a bit of both.
Both.
I think the time has come when people have said, look, we've had enough of big government, big business, telling us what's good for us.
We have been an island race for hundreds of years. Germany has tried twice to rule Europe. This is the third time, and people's had enough. Why should we be dictated to by the likes of Germany and Juncker and what have you?
Just in the last few minutes, we've seen the pound fall to levels not seen since 2009 here.
For those still awake in the middle of the night, the mood was beginning to change. The markets abroad starting to panic. Leave starting to believe they could win. How did you vote?
I voted leave.
I voted to leave as well.
I voted to leave.
And I voted to leave.
So you're feeling pretty good?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so.
Did you actually believe for a second that your side might win?
Yes.
You did?
I did.
Because?
Because the only reason I could see that the reason for staying was that we don't know what will happen if we go out, and that's not a good enough reason for not making that decision.
I do think that we've got a chance to make Britain again. And I think that I really believe that now is the time to take the opportunity.
I'm going to be cheeky, Dennis. I don't know what that means. What does Britain
Well,
mean?
Britain to be a self-governing country with laws and rules and regulations and a parliament that actually looks after what we're doing.
The birds are singing, dawn over Leeds. I've just had a text message from a very senior Remain figure who is effectively conceding defeat. Nigel Farage is claiming victory in their students, representative of the many, many young people who've campaigned for Remain. The question is, do they accept they've lost? You still believing?
I think we'll be okay.
You think you're going to be okay?
Hopefully.
I think it's going to go right down to the wire. I just don't know.
If it goes Leave, how are you going to feel?
Devastated.
We will be gutted and a bit.
You'll be gutted?
Yeah, and nervous for most of us are graduating in 2 weeks, so it's kind of a worrying horizon. We're supposed to be entering the job market, but
it's scary.
It is scary.
It's 7:30. It is the morning after the night before. Anybody who went to bed at a normal time thought they were going to bed with Britain staying in the EU. Now, waking up, coming here, having their breakfast, they discover the news: we are leaving the EU, and it changes just about everything. The question is, how will Britain feel? It's a big morning.
First English breakfast in England.
Say that again.
First English breakfast in England now.
Feeling good then?
Very.
Really?
Yeah, I am, yeah.
Why so chuffed?
We get our country back today. It's Independence Day.
Out.
Fuera?
Out.
Out?
Yeah.
No.
Out. Gone.
No possible.
No, it's possible. UK, no more Europe.
No good, no bueno.
Not good, no bueno.
No bueno.
The result now clear, so too was the fear beginning to spread amongst those who desperately wanted us to remain in the EU, including this farmer I met in Peterborough with his daughter.
I'm just afraid that it could even result in violence.
What, here in Britain or between countries in Europe?
Countries in Europe, and I wouldn't want anyone to have to go and fight, and I wouldn't want any bloodshed.
To actually break up the European Union, break up potentially the United Kingdom, it does fill me with quite some dread.
In fact, the Prime Minister, you may want to see it yourself, is going to be talking in 5 minutes' time from Downing Street.
Not going to resign, is he?
I think he'll be gone within weeks. Events would soon start to move a whole lot faster.
I think the country requires fresh leadership to take it in this direction.
As the Prime Minister walked onto Downing Street, we headed back to London. So David Cameron has quit. People said he wouldn't have to if he lost, but he felt he needed to. Why, you might be wondering. The reasons are clear. This was a referendum he didn't need to have. It was a referendum of his choosing, on a date that he picked, on turf which he selected, and he lost. And that's why he feels he has to go. By now the pound had crashed, stocks too, the markets were in panic. I landed in what already felt like a different country, not just because so much had changed in such a short time, but because London, which voted overwhelmingly for Remain, has more in common with Edinburgh than anywhere in between. It is now 10:30. Here, of course, we are in London. And that red tall tower, Westminster Tower, is the new centre of power in this country. It's the headquarters of Vote Leave. Boris Johnson, Michael Gove will meet there. They will appear in front of the media. They are the men who will shape the direction this country now takes. Take back control, one of the most powerful slogans in the history of politics. And control is precisely what they now have.